the most legendary title win streaks inside the UFC right now. So, man, in the UFC, there's that type of champion that are simply legendary, that everybody thinks that nobody is beating him. Nobody is beating him, and makes legendary title fights and title winning streaks. So, man, to this video, we are going to talk about these champions that had the aura, had everything, and became the most legendary champions ever in their divisions. So, we are going to get started with Charles Oliveira, but he is one of my favorite fighters actually, and I love his fighting style, I love his personality, I love everything. So the thing about Charles Oliveira is, before his title reign, he simply beat Kevin Lee by guillotine. He beat Tony Ferguson in a dominant decision, and then he went to fight Michael Chandler, and in that fight everyone was saying that he was going to be beaten by Michael Chandler, but that didn't happen. What happened was, Michael Chandler simply was the winner of the first round. He beat Charles Oliveira, he knocked him down, and then Charles in fact looked pissed in that fight, and in the second round he came back and knocked out Michael Chandler with ease in a beautiful combination. So when he went to fight against Dustin Poirier, everybody was saying that it was a fluke win against Chandler because he was knocked down and stuff. And when he went to fight against Poirier, everyone was saying that Dustin Poirier would beat Charles Oliveira because he was the rightful champion, because he beat McGregor. He had a close fight with Khabib, not that close, but he was able to survive Khabib for 4 rounds, if I'm not mistaken. And then he beat Charles Oliveira in the first round, was dominated in the second. In the third, Charles Oliveira simply submitted him with a rear naked choke, showing one of the most iconic moments in his career. And after this, Charles Oliveira went to defend his belt against Justin Gaethje, but he lost the belt due to the scales because he missed the weight, and he beat the brakes off Justin Gaethje. He knocked him down, he submitted him with a rear naked choke, and was the perfect night for Charles Oliveira. He was in his hype, and then he lost, but is not the main reason that I did this video, is because of the legendary winning streak that he had, beating these names and being so fantastic and entertaining, exciting, made him be so legendary at lightweight. And because of this, I think that Charles Oliveira is one of the most legendary, and had one of the most legendary title winning streaks. So going to the other name is Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare. Before his title shot, he beat Rafael dos Anjos, but it was not that much of a good win because everybody beat dos Anjos, everybody, even Colby Covington. So I think that he beat Rafael dos Anjos is a good win, but not the best. And then he went to beat Tyron Woodley, a dominant champion with 4 title defenses, which is crazy, being a 4-time defending champion in the UFC at that time. And he went there and dominated Tyron Woodley, and this image shows exactly what I'm saying. Tyron Woodley was hopeless. And then he went to defend his belt against Colby Covington in a all-time war, because, man, that fight was crazy. It's one of my favorite fights ever, and he beat the brakes of Colby Covington. He was losing. People think that he was losing or was tied to going to the 5th round, and Kamaru Usman was able to break Colby Covington's jaw, and was a crazy moment. And then he went to beat Jorge Masvidal in a not exciting fight, but then he knocked out Gilbert Burns, the one that made Hamza Chimaev bleed for the first time. And then he went to knock out Jorge Masvidal in the second fight. knock out the knockout guy, man. How this is possible? And then he went to dominate Colby Covington in this fight. This is one of the best resumes that we have ever seen inside the UFC, and Kamaru was fucking dominant champion. And for this reason, I say that he had a legendary title reign. Going to the third one that I'm going to talk in this video is Jon Jones. Jon Jones had, before he popped for steroids and stuff, had that hit and run accident, before he became the villain, he was a legendary champion. He is still bad. We know that he is just a drug head, and I don't like Jones. People try to glaze him, but I don't see where I don't have this feeling. I can't like Jon Jones while he's a terrible person. There's no way. So he beat Shogun Rua, won the second belt. He defended against Rampage Jackson. He submitted him in the final rounds with a rear neck choke. He put Lyoto Machida to sleep, beat the brakes off Rashard Evans for 5 rounds, then submitted Belfort with an Americana, then TKO'd Charles Sonnen in the second round, and then went to have an all-time war with Gustafsson in the best light heavyweight title fight ever. There's no light heavyweight title fight that is as good as that fight. Maybe Hiri Prohaska versus Glover Teixeira, but that fight is my top 1 in that division. And then he went to defeat Daniel Cormier by decision in a clean fight. So this first reign of Jon Jones was a crazy reign. He was the best. He was the best, just, and was legendary. He beat all these legends and became the best light heavyweight champion ever. And this, what is more legendary than this? I don't think. Then going to the other one is Islam Makhachev. I was very hesitant to put him in this spot, but I think that it's fair. I think that his resume is better than Habib. And I may sound crazy, but I think that's better. He beat Charles Oliveira, that was in a 12 winning streak. This will be the same as Habib beat Tony Ferguson at that time. And then he beat Volkanovski, the number 1 pound for pound guy, twice, and knocked him out in the second fight. And then he had a war against Dustin Poirier and submitted him in the 5th round. And the thing is, Charles Oliveira beat Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, and Islam Makhachev beat Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira. What is crazy? And on top of that, he beat Alexander Volkanovski, who was the number 1 pound for pound guy. What is crazier than this? I think that Habib had a great resume, but not better than Islam. And if Islam beats Sarukian, I don't think Habib has something to say that he has a better resume, and nobody will have an argument to that. So the next one is the man himself, the great Alexander Volkanovski. Man, this guy beat Chad Mendes and Jose Aldo before getting to the title, then beat Max Holloway, beat him again in a close fight, then went to TKO TKZ, beat the brakes off Brian Ortega, beat again Max Holloway by decision, and was one of the best fights where you saw Volkanovski dominate Max Holloway for 5 rounds. Then he went to TKO Yair Rodriguez. Man, this was a legendary title winning streaks, because this guy at featherweight, he looked unstoppable. He was the best right there. So this is the video. I hope you like, subscribe, and see you next time.